Good morning, everyone. It's a great opportunity and privilege to be presenting a case in front of the legendaries of oral pathology. So today I'll be presenting a case of a chondroblastic osteosarcoma of the mandible. So a 12-year-old male presented to us with the chief complaint of a swelling in the right lower jaw, which was present since last 2 months. The swelling had gradually increased in size and it was non-tender. There were no associated medical history, family history, or any other systemic complaints. Upon an extraoral examination, a diffuse swelling which was present around the right side of the lower jaw along the body of the mandible measuring approximately 4 centimeters in size. The swelling was non-tender and the overlying skin was not unremarkable. On intraoral examination, an expansile lesion was present in the right mandibular body around the molar teeth, which was causing more buccal expansion compared to the lingual expansion. Also, sutures were present as the patient had already underwent a biopsy in Russia, Uzbekistan. The patient was looking at the patient was had also underwent a PET CT, and the PET CT revealed an expansile lytic lesion in the right hemimandibular body, which was causing much buccal cortical expansion compared to the lingual expansion, with extensive soft tissue component infiltrating the lower alveolus, and specks of calcification were present. There were no other metabolically active lesions present anywhere else in the body. So based on this, it was the PET CT findings were more pointing towards a malignancy compared to a benign lesion of the lower jaw. The patient had underwent an incisional biopsy, which was reviewed at 2 institutes in Russia. So the incisional biopsy blocks were reviewed at our institute also. And the sections revealed abundance cartilaginous matrix, which was present, and pleomorphic spindle and polygonal cells were present. Also, there was small foci of lacy osteoid-like deposition, which was present. So based on the incisional biopsy findings, we gave a diagnosis of a conventional osteosarcoma, chondroblastic variant, grade 3, high grade. Post the histopathological diagnosis, the patient underwent a resection of the lesion, and we received a specimen, right buccoalveolar wide local excision along with a hemimandibulectomy specimen. The specimen was measuring approximately 9 centimeters in the greatest dimension. On cut section, it revealed a fleshy tumor in 5.5 centimeters in the greatest dimension. And on gross examination, the resected mandible margins were more than 2 centimeters from the margins of the tumor. The sections of the resected tumor, the picture was similar to the incisional biopsy findings, where were large areas of chondroblastic differentiation which were present, along with focal area showing lacy osteoid deposition, which were lined by the neoplastic atypical cells, and lacy osteoid deposition was present. We performed an immunohistochemistry for SAT-B2, which showed strong nuclear positivity in the neoplastic cells. So the final diagnosis was given as an osteogenic tumor, that is conventional osteosarcoma, chondroblastic variant, grade 3, poorly differentiated high grade. And according to the TNM staging, it was staged as PT1, N0. N0 because the clinician had submitted right level 1B lymph nodes along with that, because the lymph nodes were showing enlarged in size on the imaging, but the lymph nodes did not show any metastatic deposit. And also the largest size of the tumor was less than 8 centimeters. So it was classified as, categorized as a PT1N0, and the patient did not receive any neoadjuvant treatment. Coming on to the discussion part, the osteosarcomas are the most common malignancy, mostly originating with the long bones, and these lesions are rarely seen in the jaws. Also, the athic osteosarcomas, they are different from their extragnathic counterparts in various factors. Because first of all, the age range is usually a decade later they are seen in the gnathic jaws. The jaw osteosarcomas are better differentiated compared to the long bone osteosarcomas. The frequency of metastasis is also lesser in the jaw osteosarcomas. Also, the survival rates are better. Usually the most important prognostic factor which is considered for the gnathic osteosarcomas is a clear resection margins, which has been reported to show a more than 10-year survival rate of more than 80%. At times, diagnosing an osteosarcoma can become a little challenging because the osteodeposition is focal and limited, and the hyalinized stroma which is present can closely mimic the osteoid. So in this case, which was seen, so that is why we performed an immunohistochemistry for SAT-B2, which helped to differentiate the hyalinized stroma from the focal osteoid deposition, as SAT-B2 is a nuclear protein which is important for the osteogenic lineage. So my take-home message will be that due to the rarity of these lesions in the jaws, the osteosarcoma should be considered in any expansile lesions which are mimic a malignancy in the jaw, especially in the mandible in the young age. In spite of the fact that large areas of cartilaginous matrix were present, still a focal deposition of osteoid will also be categorized as a chondroblastic osteosarcoma rather than a chondrosarcoma, which is even lesser in the in the jaws. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Garima. That was a wonderful presentation with very good photomicrographs. Now, this presentation is open for question answers. Any comments from the expert team is welcome. Dr. Anita ma'am or Dr. Daftary sir, anything, sir? You may as well comment. As there are no questions,
I will just say to, I think it was Ashwini who was presenting.
Dr. Garima ma'am.
Dr. Garima, I'm so sorry. Dr. Garima, there was absolutely no need for SAT-B2 over here. There's one thing that we have to realize about osteogenic sarcomas of the jaw, and that they are almost more than 50% of them are chondroblastic.
Yes, ma'am.
And we don't get chondrosarcomas in the jaw, or at this age, even if it was in the long bones and I saw all this chondroid, I would still not call this a chondrosarcoma. And remember one thing, SAT-B2 is not specific for any malignant tumor, for that matter. It only says that there is some amount of osteoid formation. So if you have a chondroblastic osteogenic sarcoma, or for that matter, even a chondrosarcoma, which is undergoing ossification, please mark my words, a chondrosarcoma, or even an enchondroma, a benign tumor, which is undergoing ossification, SAT-B2 will be positive. So SAT-A does not tell you that something is benign or malignant. It doesn't tell you whether it's an osteoid forming tumor or a chondroid forming tumor. All that it says is that there is ossification in a tumor. Okay, so if I have a nerve sheath sarcoma with metaplastic ossification, that will also express SAT-B2. So it was I think, perhaps not very necessary to do this because it was a frankly malignant tumor. The chondroid was frankly malignant. Yes, you should look, to help you bolster up your diagnosis, look for some osteoid formation, which you showed was there, although some of the sections, some of the pictures that you showed were not really osteoid. They were just more pink cartilage than osteoid. But you don't get chondrosarcomas in the jaw at this age. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Very group you might. And therefore, the diagnosis was a chondroblastic osteosarcoma, whatever. Yes, whatever whether SAT-B2 is present, absent, or anything else.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Any clinical follow-up on this?
Sir, yes, sir. The patient was the patient was just operated actually 2 weeks ago. So the patient was discharged uneventfully, and the patient has been proposed for a adjuvant chemotherapy OGS 2012 protocol. But in jaw osteosarcomas, the role of neoadjuvant or adjuvant chemotherapy has not been proven much. So and since the patient was an international patient, so the call has still not been taken whether the patient will be given chemotherapy or not.
Dr. Garima, where did you get that information that in jaw osteosarcomas, the role of chemotherapy is not, what you are doing is quoting from the literature for osteosarcomas that occur in, you said it was 1 decade later, in the 30s and the 40s. That is an osteosarcoma in the jaw that occurs in a mature bone. It is not occurring in a bone like this young man. And in fact, most protocols suggest that you give the neoadjuvant therapy before rather than after the thing. So if a biopsy had been done, the diagnosis of osteogenic sarcoma was established. This, in most places, it was.
Ma'am, the diagnosis for this case in the Uzbekistan, it was given as at 2 centers it was reviewed. At 1 center it was given as a chondrosarcoma, and at the other center it was given as a chondromyxoid fibroma.
Yes, I am quite understand that, but if this one had been reviewed at your center and you had made a diagnosis of a sarcoma, I'm just saying that now once the thing is out, you have to give adjuvant,
Yes, ma'am.
post-adjuvant therapy. Otherwise, the treatment is neoadjuvant therapy. Before,
Yes,
shrink the whole tumor and then do the surgery.
Okay, ma'am.
And you can't say that it doesn't work, because that literature is from patients who are older patients, 30 and 40 years old.
Okay, ma'am. What I read for the long bones was that chemotherapy always has a role, and usually it is neoadjuvant chemotherapy which is given.
Neoadjuvant, absolutely.
Yes,
But in the jaw, you have a different type, but not in young people. No, you said that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's the difference. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Anita ma'am and Daftary sir, for your insights.